G'day guys, Jason from Thrive Endurance. I'm just out here today on the iconic jetty at Busselton during the Ironman swim, as you can see out in the background. I just thought this would be a good chance just to have a little bit of chat about the way that my food plan and journey has gone over my triathlon career. So Busselton's pretty special to me. This was my first place I did my Ironman, which was 8 years ago. Back then, I remember on my first race, after working with a dietitian in Melbourne and reading a lot of stuff, everything was about how much carbohydrate can you consume. To the point of even we got to where we said if we add fructose to the glucose, we can add another 50%. So back then, I remember my first six Ironman, 5 Ironman that I did for the first 4 years of the journey. I was taking about 25 gels on the bike and about 10 to 12 gels on the run plus Coke. So I was consuming a lot of carbohydrate, which was about 120 grams an hour. Which is basically, if you look at the research, that's the maximum that you can put in. So everything I was doing was to the maximum. So I did this for the first 4 years, and I had really good success. I would carb load 800 grams of carbs the 2 nights before a race. I remember just jamming my body full, because that's what I'd been told was the best. If you look at what the research sort of says and what we're told in Australia. So fast forward 4 years onto that. So about 5 years ago, I met Marty Costello from Senate Centre at Girona, Spain, who's a sports doctor and has a sports clinic there. And he started reeling off a few names to me of people that you might know: Jan Frodeno, Nick Calistine, Dan McNamee. He was working with those. He's working with pro cyclists like Dan Martin in the Tour de France, Ryder Hasedal, who had won the Tour de Italy. So, if you think if these guys were listening, that this guy might know a little bit about what he was talking about. And basically, I started working with him 5 years ago, and he told me that what I needed to do was cut out refined carbohydrates out of my diet, and I needed to during training stop relying on carbohydrates for fuel. So as in liquid carbohydrates, and start using real food and let my metabolism do the job. Which was just totally bizarre to me. It was totally opposite to everything. I told him this was not possible. I knew after 2 hours I had to have a gel when I was training, or else I'd bonk, so on and so on. But I kind of went, well, let's just open your mind a little bit. Let's just give this guy a chance, because obviously maybe he does know what he's talking about if these other guys are working with him. And it wasn't until then I went, well, hang on, let's actually travel over and go and see if what this guy's actually name dropping is actually really happening, because it just, none of it made sense to me. So I went over for my first visit over to Spain to stay there for about 6 weeks and train there over our Australian winter. And I got there and straight away at the clinic, all these people that he said were there. So I was like, well, obviously there is some truth to this, but are they all doing it? I don't know. I wasn't really talking to them. I was just trusting Marty. And basically the main thing that we did was we just took out refined carbohydrates out of the diet. So I cut out, I used to eat pasta and eat cereals and eat all this stuff because I thought that I needed for energy, for fuel. So basically that all went, and I replaced it still with carbohydrates, but they were vegetables, fruit, sweet potato rather than pasta, but just a lot of green, a lot of colourful vegetables that still have carbohydrate, but they've got a lot of nutrient dense food. Then basically fast forward a year down the track, which I had been doing this, and I'd been following him, and I hadn't raced, so I didn't really know the conclusions of it. And I was coming up to Busselton Ironman, so this was 2015. I wanted to qualify for Kona again. And he was telling me that I was literally going to, take about 4 gels for the whole entire race, which, from someone that was taking 30 gels plus Coke, I was really scared. But I'd been training and I hadn't been bonking and I'd been doing a few different things. So I was quietly confident that I was going well. But I decided, which I'd never normally do, I did Shep Challenge 70.3 distance 3 weeks before Busselton Ironman, just solely for the fact that I wanted to see, can I do this? Am I going to bonk? Because I had argued with everyone that, this was the only way to go. Like anyone that was trying to tell me anything different. Like I remember so many people that I argued with that, you had to do this. And I just assumed because I was having good results, I won Cairns Ironman the year before, that, I was the person that was putting in the most carbohydrates and I was having good results. So I believe that's why it was. We went into Shep Challenge and literally I didn't carb load. I was tired. And he had wrote me my nutrition plan, which included 2 gels for the whole race, 1 on the bike and 1 on the run. And I was just like, but eating food, using food for fuel rather than liquid gels. So it's not like I wasn't taking on any calories. So come that race, I got onto the bike, I had 1 gel with me, and I was taking that at the 90k point and I dropped it. And I was just like, holy shit. So literally, for the first 3 hours of that race, I didn't consume any liquid forms of carbohydrate at all. And then, I got off the bike and I took my 1 gel at 10k's onto the run. So that race there, when I was tired, was my second fastest Ironman that I'd done. And if anyone's seen me on that day, I was running around the last lap, with unlimited amounts of energy. It was insane. I remember finishing that race. I come second. I think I did a 4:20 or a 4:18 or something like that. I ran a 1:23, 1:24, which was my second fastest run time ever. And I was just shocked. Like I just couldn't believe I did that when I was tired, let alone without any carbohydrate. So and then the next day, 2 days later, I pulled up and trained, which I never could do if I was normally on a carbohydrate diet. Like I'd blow up, my ankles would be like cankles. It was insane. So if we look at 3 weeks later, I went to Busselton, and this is 2015. My nutrition plan was for 4 gels, 2 on the bike, 2 on the run. But as I said again, I was still eating food, I was still drinking water, I was taking some other nutrition that was more stimulants like magnesium gels and those sorts of things. And I went, well, let's give this a shot. And I ended up going sub 9, which was and coming second in my age group, which was the only time I've been sub 9, and the first time I've been sub 9, and the best race that I'd ever had. I'd won Cairns Ironman, but this was a better race than that. It was just that the guy that come first was the first age group over the line. So that kind of ended my journey for first place. But I was so happy with that race. But, you might say that, that's just, maybe you can do that because you are going long. Well, also that season, I won the 2XU Triathlon Series. I won all the sprints. I won all the Olympics. I won the state series. I actually just, I had the best year of my life. And I was just recovering better. I could train better. So that's basically, all I wanted to say was just give you a little bit of background on my health journey and this game changer thing I'm doing. The main reason I'm doing it is because once before I said this isn't possible, so I just want to give it a go myself. I'm not an animal advocate. I haven't, I've got no preconceived ideas of whether it's going to work or it's not going to work, sort of thing. So, it'll be good to see what happens. I'm nearly up to 1 month. I'll give you a bit more of a debrief after 1 month, but I just thought I'd give you a little bit of a background of what I do. So now I class myself as a real food athlete. I only eat food that carry nutrients. If it hasn't got nutrients, it's not going to help me recover. So it's a waste of calories. So since then, I've also done Ultraman Australia, basically on the same theory and the same journey. And it was kind of one of the things I wanted to do was to prove that, geez, this is the best. And if you ask anyone after that race, I buried myself as to a bigger hole as I could on every single day. And come after the race, I was bouncing around, I was walking around still, everyone else is falling over in a heap. Everyone's just going, holy crap, like, what are you on? And I'm going, I'm on real food, mate, I'm on real food. This is your recovery, this is your fuel. So yeah, if anyone's got any comments or got any questions, just leave comments below or direct message me if you want to know what sort of things I eat and what sort of that sort of stuff. But it's basically mainly a Mediterranean diet. Olive oil, avocados, lots of good healthy fats, and lots of vegetables, a little bit of fruit. I still usually eat meat, eggs, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, happy to share my journey with anyone that's interested. Hit us up at Thrive Endurance. But yeah, back to watching the race and watching my couple of athletes go round, which I'm excited about. All right, see you guys. Talk soon.